What's good, YouTube, man? It's your boy Flan Speaks back in his hot car, back in his hot car. You know what I mean? Because I could do that. But listen, man, I got to address my man, J Trap. All right? Listen, I appreciate you coming through, even though I see you avoiding me and you trying to go at people in the comment section. I see what you're doing. Here to cause confusion, as they say. And I see you too, Ricky, whatever your name is, man. Ricky Metallica, I'm going to call you for right now. I can't remember your name. But my man out here done got steered wrong. Somebody done told you wrong, bro. Somebody done told this man somehow that Caitlin Clark's rookie year, that funky rookie year she had last year, is better than Sheryl Swoopes' MVP seasons. All three of them, mind you. This is the new blasphemous statement that's going around. All right, now let me break down the difference here. I get y'all don't like Sheryl Swoopes because Sheryl Swoopes don't go around with the narrative. Sheryl Swoopes looked at Caitlin Clark's game, and she sees a girl that has free reins in an offense where she's able to shoot all she wants, has a great green light. Like, I have to translate what she meant by what she said because y'all don't get it. Y'all just like very much in your feelings. So you're assuming that, she said that she shot the ball 30 times and all of that. That's hyperbole for, she just has a green light to shoot whenever she wants in this particular offense. That's free flowing, which allows her to score 28 points a game. What Sheryl Swoopes is saying is there are a number of players that have the same amount of talent that could probably put up those points if they were given that same amount of freedom. And I happen to agree with that. Also, what Sheryl Swoopes is probably doing is looking at Caitlin Clark on the defensive end, seeing absolutely nothing there to be, impressed with. And then she says, okay, yeah, I mean, she cool, but she ain't all that, I believe she said something like that. And because of that, you guys want to slander her. You want to act like you said a so-called legend. That's what you said. So-called legend, right? Listen. That right there just had the hairs on the back of my neck, which really aren't there, just standing up right there. So I got to get at you real quick. My man. All right, so let's go over these two players here because, you can't be this ignorant. Right, Sheryl Swoopes goes to Texas Tech in the early 90s. She's there for 2 years, total 66 games, okay? Caitlin Clark is at Iowa, from 2000 to 2024, I believe it is, right? 4 seasons, basically, 2 versus 4. Sheryl Swoopes in 66 games averages about 25 points a night, 9 rebounds, 4.4 assists, if my memory serves me correctly from the last time I looked at it, okay? She does this, however, on 52% shooting from the floor. And actually from 3, she is at 41% in college, okay? All right, good numbers. Caitlin Clark, great numbers as well, 28. She averaged, I think in her last season, she averaged 31 points, right? Because her green light is crazy. But overall, her college career, she's about 28 points. So I think it's 28.1 or something like that. About 7 rebounds, I believe Caitlin Clark was getting us. And she was getting about 8 assists. It could have been 9, I don't know, but 8 assists, somewhere around that nature, right? Caitlin Clark was not doing it on 52% shooting. She was doing it on what's a good 46% shooting. Okay, I give her credit for that. And from 3, I don't remember right now if she's 40%, but the point is, I'm not sure if she's 40%. That I will have to look up again. Point is, both were very impactful, great college players. What is the difference between the two? Caitlin Clark was able to break a bunch of records. The nature of the offense she was in, she was able to break the record of the person prior to her, Kelsey Plum, who had a similar type of green light, okay? What she didn't do was she did not win a championship. I know y'all don't like to hear that, but I'm bringing this up for one reason. You guys like to make excuses about the championship, saying that Caitlin Clark played on a college team that did not have a 2nd star, 3rd star, no 5-star recruits, so on and so forth. What I'm going to explain to you guys is that in 1993, Sheryl Swoopes was in the same situation, arguably playing on a team that was worse than Iowa. Okay, Texas Tech was a team with no tradition, with no crazy recruitment class, none of those different types of things, no crazy legendary coach, none of that. All they had were Sheryl Swoopes. Okay, Sheryl Swoopes. And what did Sheryl Swoopes do in 1993? The same thing that y'all say Caitlin Clark did. Put the team on her back, carry them to the finals. But the difference is what? The difference is what? When Caitlin Clark go up against the so-called five-star teams and all of this kind of stuff, what happens? She finds a way to lose. Okay? First was the only time she did get to the finals was against South Carolina. No, she got there against Angel Reese and them, lost that. Got there against South Carolina and lost that. Okay? All right. That's what's up. Good job, Caitlin Clark. All right, the difference was when Sheryl Swoopes got there against Ohio State in 1993. I remember watching this as a young man in high school. I think I might have been 11th or 12th grade at the time. I remember watching that game and watching that dark-skinned sister light their asses up. I remember that game. I remember Sheryl Swoopes going off for 4 to 7 points. 4 to 7, okay? In a game that was, I think, 84-82. Okay, so 47 points by one player. The game is 84-82. That is, by definition, the thing y'all give Caitlin Clark credit for. Sheryl Swoopes was able to get it done. So one is a champion, the other one is not. In my view, that's 1 point. Sheryl to nothing for CC. Y'all can go ahead with the records, all right? That's cool. That's what you went to, fine. To me, the purpose of sports is not to get individual numbers and accolades, but it's about, winning, and that's what Sheryl Swoopes kind of did and does at the highest level, as you will see. All right, so moving on to the next thing. All right, Caitlin Clark was the number 1 pick. That's what's up. Now, you know what Sheryl Swoopes was? All right, she was coming along, or she's a player that was already out there in 1993, okay? There was a 94, there was a 95, there was a 96, okay? College players coming out, right? So you would assume that's a nice large number of players, player talent pool out there. Okay, you have Lisa Leslie out there, you have Rebecca Lobo out there, you have players that were playing overseas out there, the Cynthia Coopers and so on. It can go on forever, all right? That were just out there, okay? They started a new league. You can pick anybody you want out of the whole world. And guess who was the first player ever signed to that league? Oh, yeah, you guessed it right. It was Sheryl Swoopes, first player ever signed to the WNBA out of everybody. We ain't talking about out of one talent class. We're talking about out of every player. And in history, she will always go down as the first player that was ever signed to this league. I don't care what you think Caitlin Clark going to do. You think she's going to change it? She's going to do this. She's going to do that. Sheryl Swoopes going to always be the one that started it. Always. So keep that in mind and put some respect on that name. As Birdman said, put some respect on it. All right? Now let's look at there's no large sample size here for the rookie year, but the claim was that rookie season that Caitlin Clark had was so legendary, it's better than every MVP season that Sheryl Swoopes ever had. Now let's look at Sheryl Swoopes' 2000 season, which is the first year she won MVP. Sheryl Swoopes averaged 20 points a game. Caitlin Clark, did she average 20 last year? No. All right, so it's not better when it comes to points. Okay, and then let's look at the percentage. Sheryl Swoopes did it on 50.3% shooting. She's over 50%. Caitlin Clark was somewhere around 41, 42% from the floor. So I don't think the scoring was just as impressive. Sheryl Swoopes not even a three-point shooter, but guess what? If I remember correctly, she was around a 37% from the floor that season. Okay. Was Caitlin Clark 37% from three, even though she shot on local threes? I don't know. Now, I get it. Sheryl Swoopes only shot about 3 a game, and Caitlin Clark shoots 300 a game. So, maybe you can give you that, but just think about it. Sheryl Swoopes still average more, better efficiency. All right. Now, what else we want to look at here? Rebounds. Sheryl Swoopes averaged just a little bit more rebounds. I think it was around 5 or 6. It's kind of equal there. I think I might have to look into it again. And Sheryl Swoopes might have averaged a little bit more, a couple more rebounds than Caitlin Clark. She might have, okay? Assists, Sheryl Swoopes got you at 4.4 assists a game in 2000. Hey, from somebody playing the 3 position, who ain't handling the ball all the time, who's playing with a point guard, that ain't bad at all, to be honest with you. That's some nice point forward numbers. Caitlin Clark, of course, leads the league in assists with about 8 or 9. I think it was around 8, right? 8, maybe 8 assists a game last season, okay? Let's look at them turnovers now. Hey, it is what it is. Caitlin Clark, don't know what them 8 assists came 5 turnovers. I don't know. Sheryl Swoopes turnovers, 2.6 turnovers a game. 2.6. It's under 3. Okay? So, we ain't got a sloppy turnover machine hurting the team. So, I guess on one hand, he's saying it's a better year. Why? Because of them assists. Now, I'm going to tell you why them assists don't put them better, in my opinion. Why it didn't work for me. Because I watched the game and I watched what Caitlin Clark doing. And the nature of this is that there's just 4 basically every game. It's the same thing. 4 assists going to go to Leah Boston on pick and pops because they constantly rolling pick and pops all damn game. There's going to be 1 that's going to be the length of the floor when the defenses fall asleep, not paying attention. And then the other 3 is going to go to a wide open Lexi Hole shooter or such and such. That's cool. Not taking away from it. That's what's up. It's very repeatable because that's their system that they play. I get it. Does that mean her year was better than Sheryl Swoopes' year? Not to me. Why? Because I gotta also look at the other side of the floor. Caitlin Clark on defense was what in last year? Out of 144 women when it comes to defensive rating, Caitlin Clark ranked around 116th. Okay? Out of 144. You were in the bottom half. She spent a big portion of the year at around 124th. Right? On a little run where the team overall defense improved a little bit. She moved up a little bit. What did Sheryl Swoopes do in 2000? Sheryl Swoopes was Defensive Player of the Year 2000. Sheryl Swoopes in the All-NBA was the best offensive player and the best defensive player. Let me say that again. Sheryl Swoopes in 2000 was the best offensive player in the year and the best defensive player in the year. Ain't that some shit? Ain't that some Andy stuff? Bruh. Now, y'all tell me what's a better year. Not to mention the fact she won the championship. Well, you went to the playoffs. We ain't getting all that. Sheryl Swoopes, 4-time champion. Caitlin Clark doesn't. We can't do that yet because there's not enough years. We're not going to get in championships, okay? But just that year. MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. Who told you that Caitlin Clark's rookie season was better? Who told you that? You listening to Ben Daniels again? You listening to Rudy again? You listening to these foolish, toonish individuals again? Out there hating on Sheryl Swoopes for being honest? Giving her damn honest take? Is that what you know? Huh? Could you imagine if Caitlin Clark and Sheryl Swoopes played against each other in their primes? You see Sydney Colson, right? You see Dejanay. Sheryl Swoopes is like them on steroids. Really. Defensive Player of the Year 3 times in a career. And when she's not Defensive Player of the Year, she's always like second runner-up, third runner-up. Right? She's always on the defensive team. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? You're saying somebody who got a bunch of funky behind assists, you putting that over somebody who, all right, giving me 4.5 assists with only 2 turnovers, and I can put them on the best offensive player or offensive wing that I'm playing against. And you try to tell me Caitlin Clark better. You need to get off of that. You need to get off that Jack Mac. Whatever it is you're drinking, whatever it is you're smoking, you need to get off of that. And you need to come learn basketball and start talking to some real people, man. All right, J Trap. All right, Ricky O, whatever your name is. Ain't nothing wrong with like Caitlin Clark, but you better leave Sheryl Swoopes' name out your mouth. Or you're going to look real silly to some real ballers, man. All right.